filled with millions of dots of insignificance, not many of them having any significance to us at all. Even if they do, they usually don't shape us at all. But when they do shape us, they alter us as beings and change the way we see the world through experiences. And today, we're going to look at a few of those.
Here we are at a small park near Brentwood Community Garden. Students are only here for about an hour a day. And when we were in middle school, near here at St. John Brave Up, we would get it to ourselves.
So we would sit up on that hill and talk, then come down here, sit on these benches where the most sincere conversations would happen, as well as the truest screams of terrors on these swings. All of the friends who had last were made here. I see the world through this fairy tale light with childlike wonder. Now we look at the world like a playground, to have fun, frolic through experiences, and truly live.
A place doesn't have to be big, complicated, or controversial to mean something. Even something as simple as a playground has a possibility of significance. Places where we are rewarded for hard work are often memorable. Sometimes our hard work is represented through medals or awards. But there's also simple ways that we can recompense ourselves.
We come to this Dairy Queen once or twice a month to reward ourselves for completing large projects or as payments for bets. No matter what happens in school, this is a place that we come to enjoy ourselves, not having to think about any of that stuff. We shape our buildings. Thereafter, they shape us. This place isn't special to us because of the quality of the food or anything special about the physical space. It's special to us because through our interactions and time spent here, we turn this space into a place.
A place of companionship. No matter who else joins us, Conrad is by my side each time we visit this place. It's become a place that helps us nourish our friendship and see the light at the end of the tunnel, even in the face of tedious or difficult tasks. The Peace Bridge is a monument iconic to Calgary. Its sleek glass design, along with vibrant coloring, grabs the attention of pedestrians. Its name was given as a tribute to our military, honoring the sacrifices they've made to make Canada and Calgary a safe, peaceful place.
The efforts to build the Peace Bridge was great, due to the bank collapsing and the decline in the local economy.
The bridge was built despite this, as if it was to be a symbol of unity for Calgarians. The bridge is supposed to be a symbol of peace and a place for peaceful protests, but for no apparent reason, vandals ruin it. Fences were put up during repairs, and the bridge lost its beauty. Because of these ongoing acts of vandalism, the city changed the glass to metal. I never remember the bridge being under repairs when I was little, but now metal railings of the Peace Bridge will serve as a reminder that society is unpredictable and can't be trusted. Maybe the government is sometimes right to implement seemingly unnecessary measures.
This place helps us realize that it's demanding to have nice public things, even if its intentions are pure. If there are no serious repercussions, people will do whatever they want to public property without regard for thousands of people who are affected by it. In that way, the Peace Bridge has changed the way we think of society. It's not only warm and welcoming, and caution must be taken. This building is where I built my discipline, self-respect, and most importantly, the strongest sense of community I've ever felt. I signed up for this program about 3 years ago with my dad and younger brother. I was bad at first, as you could expect, and I didn't really get better for about the first month. I had made a couple of friends, most of them new, and before I knew it, I had a community. With that, I started getting better. Learning new moves, adding to a collection of positions and approaches. The first thing that I learned was a single leg, a way to take down your opponent down to the ground. I never really got it, and whenever I had the chance to use it, I instead used it to scare them into a double leg, which was a much easier position. This fear of moves, positions, and overall things I didn't fully understand was crippling. I couldn't think of positions like it was a puzzle, which is kind of how I see it now, but as a screw to try all my different screwdrivers. Like, just making moves until something works. Then comes my first competition. The wind up to it was nothing more than insanity. I was working hard, not eating much, and of course, practicing a lot. My match, I did fine. It was a one-on-one with the winner taking gold. And I got him on submission and then points.
Left leg over his head, Conrad. There you go. Go for the wrist. Go for the wrist. Nice job.
15 seconds, Conrad.
10 seconds. Think about throwing another hand for a collar choke.
Come on, sub him. You got 3 seconds. Yeah!
I was definitely not confident in my abilities, and I think it showed, knowing, though, that I could beat someone, put me in position to work harder. I was getting better with another comp, with me losing to both of them. And those really put me in a position that I could work harder. I got to gray belt, and in May of this year, something like that, I went from the youth class, which is, I believe, like 11 to 60, to the fundamental class, which is anything above that. That was challenging. I was nervous, not really knowing how to handle it, but I eventually found myself enjoying it more and more, like I did the youth class before. Then, a few months ago, there was an invitational tournament that was hosted at this very school, at Authentic Jiu-Jitsu, and I was competing against a friend of mine. That match is what you're watching right now. This school taught me discipline, patience, confidence, and experiencing challenges. It especially gave me a community that I could sort of reach down on and have a shoulder to prop up myself on. I want to go through with this competing and being consistent here, and that is something that truly, this school is something that truly shaped me. It changed my perspective on challenges instead of using my abilities as a one end all be all. Instead, looking at it through my abilities lenses to try and find a solution. Experiencing places around the world that other people grow up in helps us appreciate the value of our own place.
Now, let's take a look at the dynamics of a region of Peru called Cusco. Since this is a large section, I'll break it into 3 parts. Cusco is the name of the region, but also the name of its capital city. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the Western Hemisphere. Because Cusco was founded in a mountainous region, in a time when there was no need for expansion, the arrival of modern technology was a shock to them. Their place restricted them from expanding roads easily as we do in North America, and power lines were hastily attached to the sides of buildings, often ending up in a tangled mess. Less access to the internet only serves to slow development further, and roadblock the option for people to have tech or online-based careers. Without those careers, Peru turns to increasing tourism as a source of income, but more on that in a minute. Even the largest towns in the region of Cusco don't have reinforced regulations on traffic control or pet ownership. Most dogs, for example, are without owners and left to scavenge for themselves. This significant difference between cultures translates to a difference in people's worldview. In many places that aren't populated towns, people are more down to earth and happier to be living in an unindustrialized place. Then there's the tourist area of Cusco. This is a small site situated at the once small town of Aguas Calientes, nicknamed Machu Picchu Pueblo after the main attraction found there. After traveling through mountainous rural Peru, arriving at Machu Picchu was quite different. Buses and trains filled with tourists made up a constant background, and the food was more expensive than tempting. Hotels lined the streets and hundreds of stalls selling fabrics and jewelry. There were also sculptures added to the celebrity Machu Picchu. Tourism in Peru is generated mostly in that small area, from people visiting the ruins of Machu Picchu mountain, and the surrounding business that follows. For reference, Peru generates around 4% of its annual GDP from tourism, while Canada's tourism sector accounts for large tourism industry possible, though. It's all based on the place that the Incas lived in when they built the ancient cities. How would Peru and the world be different if the Incas lived in the mountains of Africa instead? Visiting the region of Cusco has definitely altered the way I think about tourism and authenticity. Most tourists only visit the polished version of Peru, the one where everything looks clean and the hotels are like the hotels back at home. I think that you should visit a place to experience the culture in its fullest, not to experience the watered-down version they serve you on a platter as a money-making business. Machu Picchu was beautiful, but there are other ruins I visited that could look just as worthy with the amount of cleaning up Machu Picchu received. If I stayed in a plush hotel for my whole trip, it would have been nice, but I wouldn't have gotten the experience of tenting in the mountains or eating home-cooked meals from the locals. So don't always visit that one place everyone's talking about. Go explore some for yourself.
The entire city of Warsaw holds a very special place in my heart. My grandfather lives there on what I must admit is a less wealthy side. The capital of Poland, Warsaw, is truly the heart of Europe. I'm sure you are aware of the 1939 invasion of Poland, and that includes Warsaw. So, these Polish men and women simmered in a sense of escape, rebel, and to rise against Nazis, Soviets, and everyone who was holding them down. The Allies were no help, sending supplies to Poland too late and too little. As Orwell once said on the matter, "Do remember that dishonesty and cowardice always have to be paid for. Don't imagine for that years on end you can make yourself the bootlicking propagandist of the Soviet regime or any other regime and then suddenly return to mental decency. Once a whore, always a whore." As the Red Army approaches, the population of Warsaw reached a boiling point. The uprising begins. As the Home Army takes back their city, there's cheering in the streets. Red, black, and white symbols of power that has taken advantage of and destroyed their homes are replaced with simple white and red flags. At this point, the only thing that could stop them was the full strength of Hitler's army with no support from the Allies. The uprising lasted 63 days, with a German report in September saying, "The Ninth Army has crushed the final resistance in the southern Vistula Circle. The resistance fought to the very last bullet." Hitler was so angry that Warsaw was rebelling against his forces that he sent a huge army to Warsaw and brought it to rubble. Nothing left. If only we got supplies earlier. If only we had acted earlier. This museum changed my view on the world. It blurred the right from the wrong. Government is not some monolith of truth to be lazily followed to the point of blind faith, but a tool to be examined for all its uses and cracks. We live in a world where we don't often question leadership, and that is how history repeats itself. How does place affect us? It's a multi-layered question that can be explored by looking at how our places change specific aspects of who we are and what we believe.
Place doesn't only define where we go to school and who our friends are. Place changes how we think and our values that we act upon. Yes, I've built many friendships that I'm happy about, but places also help me perceive the benefits of hard work, the complex theories of whether governing bodies are well-grounded, and the angles from which a culture is best appreciated.
Places changes our values in addition to our opinions, and through my place, I've built a character rooted in discipline, problem solving, questioning of power, and community. That's delicious.